Should I have low, low, yo, yo.
I have to keep my headphones off because it hurts.
Walking in the club and I see some popcorn.
Kids, are we on?
It's in the
we're on.
bowl and it's sitting at the bar.
People don't want to start their day listening to you. First of all, hearing that song by any voice,
You
let
eat
alone
some nuts.
yours.
It's in your guts, but feel good in your guts. They're nutritious. I'm just singing a song about nutrition, man.
That there's nothing musical about it.
Veggies and fruits, you should have
I'm
them
telling
on
you,
your
people are
plate.
gonna. I'm not even joking. People are gonna just press stop or scroll forward.
No, man.
And they're gonna miss some good stuff.
They're gonna love
because you're making a creative choice that I don't think is the correct one.
I'm telling you right now.
I'd like to direct and steer that energy into a more productive comedic place.
You don't think they want to hear the song about veggies and fruits and veggies?
People just got their new phones, and you're going to wreck the sound. You're going to wreck the speaker. You're going to wreck their earbuds. You're going to wreck their whole audio. And if they watch this on video, it's going to break their phone.
Or I'm going to inspire them
No.
to eat healthy.
No, that would make me want to like...
With the new veggies and fruits song, to the low fruits and veggies, you put them on your plate.
Here's the worst part about it. You actually sing well, and you're choosing to make it shit.
But listen, if you sing your fruits and veggies song,
yeah,
I mean, it inspires people, but some people don't, so they need a little.
I feel like every
so when they
one of
put
our
it on their plate,
does.
they start to sing the song, and it's a nice little tune, and they hum it to themselves.
But did you know every review that's been written on our podcast, they're all vegetarians. They all love fruits and vegetables. So you shouldn't feel compelled.
Well, then they want to hear the fruits and vegetables song.
No.
That means they love fruits and veggies,
In
dude.
the reviews, they said, I'd never need to hear a song about fruits and veggies, which is weird because they wrote it before you sang it.
Well, listen, I have a second song called Meat and Bread, it makes you feel good.
Just as horrible.
Go to the store and buy some real food. Meat in your belly. Bread with some jelly. It tastes good, good.
I hate that I laughed. Oh, damn it.
What's up, Freddie Prinze Jr.?
It was a laugh of depression. It was like, I got an hour of this kind of laugh. It wasn't like, yo, you got me.
I think the show started at some point in time, and we were talking about fruits and veggies and meat. Guys, I was trying to sing a song.
We were not talking about fruits and veggies and meat. That I'm telling you, you were just inspired to sing that doo-doo song.
But it wasn't doo-doo. You know what it was?
Tell me what it was.
It was real good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was great, Josh.
It was so good. I feel very breathy.
It was great.
Why you parked in my spot, man?
Get here early, bro. You know, make it important to you. The podcast is important to me. You know, you're out here going to Arizona for your birthday.
Yeah.
Not taking the podcast seriously.
How long you been parked up front?
I got there about 7:30.
Yesterday.
Last night. Now I'm gonna tell you what I did last night later in the podcast, and it was awesome. But I'm not gonna tell you yet.
Oh man, that's a good.
You want to hear a good song?
I do want to hear a good song.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha cha cha.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha cha cha.
Happy birthday, King Whoa. Happy birthday to you in Arizona.
Ready
How was
for
your
this?
birthday?
I'm gonna. You want to add
Hit
to that?
Hit it. What? Somewhere the fat boys are like, you know what? It's growing on me. They hated it the first time you did it, but now they're like, yeah, you can work that.
You and I are gonna start a band called the Thin Guys.
The Thin Guys. We only have enough girth for one breath. I can only do one.
I spent the weekend in Arizona with my parents and my 3 grown kids and Beth, and that was it. The
grown
kids,
babies.
They had no significant others there, which was the first time.
Wow.
It hasn't just been them without significant others for at least a decade.
Wow.
And it just worked out that way. It wasn't like you're not allowed to bring.
That would have been amazing if you're like, no in-laws.
I'm gonna tell you
Blood
something.
only.
My grandmother on my dad's side, right? My dad's mom. When we took pictures at family gatherings, if you didn't, even if you had the same last name, like my mom was married to my dad for married a long time. There were pictures she just was not allowed in because she was not blood. So my grandmother was harsh. She'd be like, "That's cool. Okay, Ellen, step
That's
out."
old
She
school.
would say, "Ellen, step out." And the wives would be somewhere, but no significant others. Nobody who doesn't.
And no one would say boo to grandma.
Not even grandpa. Not even Nana, Papa. Nana was running that shit. And so, but when she was like, "All right, Ellen, step out," it was time to step the fuck out.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's some matriarch.
Blood.
Like, Catherine, do you know what I hold in my hand?
Yeah.
Absolute power.
Blood. So we didn't do that, but it just worked out that way, and none of my brothers could make it. And so it really worked out so perfectly.
No bros to give you crap. Well, Jakey would give you crap.
Jacob
so at least you took some heat.
officially has started calling me Pops.
My daughter calls me Pops.
Oh,
She's
my
10.
God.
Hey, Pops, what's up? I swear to God, Charlotte calls me Pops.
Started calling me Pops. I'm like, man, I don't know about that. He goes,
No, it's cool.
He
Pops
said, you
is
don't have to
cool."
know anything. Your name is Pops.
That's your boy. That's how you talk. That's your boy. You don't have to know anything. Your name is Pops.
Yeah, he had some great ones this
Dude,
week. This week he had
Jacob,
some great ones.
That's gangster. I love you.
Yeah. But so good, man, to see my parents both over 80. They both look fantastic. But it reminded me this weekend that, and there was nothing like on the docket. We didn't pack our schedule. That's not my idea of vacation. My idea of vacation is nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I get that.
And that's harder to do with little kids. But when you have,
It's impossible to do with little kids.
But when you have grown kids, I can just say, hey, I'm going to be sitting here all day by the pool. Come and go, sit, don't sit.
They're going to go entertain themselves, and every once in a while they're going to come rap with you.
We got the cabana, right? And it was Sunday, the cabana, everybody showed up at 10, and we stayed the whole day.
That's
we just
great,
sat there,
dude.
we watched TV. But it was, man, the best weekend I've had. And we didn't do, what'd you do? I don't
You
know.
look fresh, man. You look recharged. You look fresh. That's why you're singing crazy fruits and veggie songs. You're feeling good.
I also did squats today, so I got that testosterone burning through me.
Every day's leg day for the king.
That's because I'm carrying all you motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's cold, man. I thought I was holding out. Messed up, dude.
Man, but what a great weekend. It reminds me to recharge. Every time I recharge, I'm like, oh, yeah, everybody needs this.
That's why you do this.
Yeah, everybody needs this. And this town, in particular, does not encourage you to recharge.
Well, it's also a town where the industry you're in, you don't allow yourself time for that because you convince yourself, if I take time off, somebody else is grinding harder. So that's almost self-imposed.
But that's true. This town in particular keeps you on the wheel. Not the executives, by the way. Execs, they don't feel any.
No, execs are on vacation. Agents and managers. I didn't know how many extra holidays existed. I'd never heard of them in school. We didn't get them all.
Yeah.
You know,
for those of you who don't know this,
Flag Day, and they get to take a week off. Oh, sorry, I'll be out of the office Thursday through Tuesday. I'm like, what?
Why Tuesday?
What? Okay, talk to you on Wednesday.
For those of you who don't know this, and Freddie, you'll know this, so I'm going to ask you, and I know you'll give the right answer. At what date in November does business stop happening here?
Oh, God. I mean, you could say as early as the 1st if you wanted to be a jerk. But
second week in November,
the last 2 full weeks
they're
of the
not
month.
taking meetings.
And you get an auto reply email. I'm out of the office for the next 18 days.
And the week before
it's
Thanksgiving,
bro.
Yeah, the week before Thanksgiving, not the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday leading up. The week before
is a whole vacation.
People will say they're going to work, but people will say, "Yeah, we're not taking meetings because Thanksgiving's next week."
Yeah, and they all say the same thing. Oh, yeah, the whole town shut down.
No, just you, motherfucker. And same with Chris. Like December, the month of December. Nothing is happening.
No, man.
Here.
Everyone's gone. It'll be like December 7th, and you'll get an auto reply like, I'm out of the country.
We're still out here grinding.
January 3rd. It's like, yo, for real? You took a month off? That's sick.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Italian?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But
I like that. It makes me frustrated, but it does make me laugh.
They've worked because we haven't figured it out.
All you struggling actors out there, that have an agent or a manager, let's play a game. Starting November 10th,
I like it.
Let's start emailing our reps and let's see who gets the auto reply, I'm out of the office first.
And try to set meetings between November 10th and the end of the year. Try to set a meeting.
Yeah.
November 10th and the end of the year, try to set a meeting with somebody.
Yo, straight up, $5 if you pull it off. I'm not going to try it because everyone's going to be like, sorry, dude. No.
You might be able to pull a breakfast meeting.
Only if they're your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're not discussing business.
But not at a studio or executive level.
No.
They ain't got time for
that's
that.
it.
They're getting coffee in Hawaii.
Did you, by the way, and there are a couple of things we want to talk about this show, everybody. I want to talk, there was a list of 100, the best 100 greatest vocalists that were put out yesterday that we need to discuss because
I have not seen this list.
It's fucking the wrong of all wrongs.
Don't you think that's why they make these lists? So that we'll make sure you don't give credit for the list. because I feel they put people too low on purpose to get you to talk about it, and then that gets them clicks.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna.
So you ain't getting the click love.
I'm not gonna mention the name of who put out the list. I'm just gonna mention the list. I'll tell you. There it is. By the way, they put it up right there.
Never mind. Wait, it's Rolling Stone? Who's the journalist that got this wrong?
The dumbest journalist of all time.
You heard it from the king.
It's the single worst list I've ever seen. You know what it's dumber than?
What is it?
Ice cream cake.
You still ate it.
It's dumber than ice cream cake when on a list about voices, Bob Dylan is somehow listed above Bono, Prince, Whitney Houston, Steven Tyler.
Hold on. Bob Dylan's above all those people?
All them folks. He's above Chris Cornell. He's above. You know who he should be?
Keep naming. I haven't figured. You haven't named a person I think he's a better vocalist than yet.
Okay. You ready for this? He's above.
What number is he?
7.
He's above Otis Redding.
Listen to me. He's above Etta James, Michael Jackson, Janis Joplin, Prince, Whitney Houston, Bono, Curtis Mayfield. Get the fuck out of here.
I wouldn't even put him in the same class as this.
He's
like
above
songwriter.
He's above Christina Aguilera.
That might be an ageist thing. Maybe that's a generational thing. But he doesn't sing better than her.
He's above Steve Perry.
Really?
Dolly Parton? Come the fuck
Okay,
on.
so then it's a list to get this response. We just gave him love for it. You see?
No, but I think what they're adding in, because I didn't read any of their stupid reasons, he's probably adding in lyrics and importance.
That doesn't count.
I agree. Vocals.
If it's best vocalists, then songwriting doesn't apply.
Because songwriting.
Where's Tina Turner on that list?
Not even on the list. She's not on the list of 100.
She's telling me there's 99 better voices all time than Tina Turner?
I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you she's not on the list.
Wow.
And here's the thing.
If you told me she was on the list but Bob Dylan wasn't on the list, I wouldn't blink.
No, why would you?
His voice was terrible.
Why?
Listen, his writing and his soul and his honesty was so good.
Two different things.
That it didn't matter what he sounded like because he was communicating to people on almost a spiritual level.
Yes.
So you put the voice aside, but if you're just listening to the voice, it literally sounds like this, and that sounds horrible. Okay?
Horrible.
Jake is the better vocalist of the Dylans. Okay?
And that's saying something.
Jake is the better vocalist of the Dylan family. If you're talking songwriting and adding that in, and you can make an argument for him to the end of time, and put him up against anyone.
And
but
if you put in
vocals,
if you put in influence, you can put him in there too.
Oh, yeah, but if this is the top greatest vocalist, he's not in the top 500, let alone 100.
He doesn't belong in my asshole.
Yeah,
he's terrible.
I love Axl Rose, but he doesn't make the top 100.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He doesn't my book. He doesn't my book.
It was a scream to me, but I still connect because I was young and angry.
Where do we go now?
No, yours sounds like Droopy Dog. You just realized it. Now you know what Axl. You got to do that.
Hey, where do we go now?
Here's what's weird.
You know what's weird? I was expecting you to stop me.
No,
and you never did.
That was so much better. It sounded, and maybe I'm the one that's messed up. Y'all let me know. Maybe I should have shut up and let him sing Fruits and Veggies. But to me, what is this?
That's what they're saying.
To me, the Droopy was more nice sounding than
Axl?
fruits and veggies. So what are they saying?
They're saying the guy explained that from now on, it's not going to be about how pretty the voice is. It's going to be about believing that the voice is telling the truth.
Then that's not a vocalist.
Thank you.
You're not talking about vocalism.
Yeah.
That's period. Like, that's just that you're making two different arguments, and now the foundation of your entire list is non-existent. Like, I don't even want to hear about any
I
of the
agree
other stuff.
because I'm buying the first 4 as vocalists.
100%.
Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
Ray Charles,
Yeah.
Elvis Presley,
Yeah.
Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
Now, here's what without a doubt.
Yeah.
Sam Cooke is smooth, and
Maybe not number 4, but for sure up there. Sure.
It depends. Like, it depends on his voice was butter.
Yeah, but I feel like Whitney's so low because Aretha's 1.
Whitney needs to be higher.
Whitney
She's 34. Come on.
is top 10 probably.
Without a doubt. And I'll tell you,
I'm throwing it out there, but you can make an argument.
Without a doubt. And here's the thing, and you all should know how huge of a Beatles fan I am.
Yeah.
But John Lennon is not number 5 as a vocalist.
No.
Now, I will tell you the difference to me between his voice and Dylan's voice. Some things about vocalists for me is this. Is the voice, is it different? Is it different in a way that makes you feel something, right? Does his an emotional voice? And Lennon's voice was really different at the time, but I would say that McCartney's voice is better and more versatile than Lennon's voice.
Better sounding to the ear, yeah. As far as a vocalist, yeah, I would agree with that.
But so Marvin Gaye being below John Lennon, Otis Redding, Stevie Wonder being below John Lennon.
Is below
Stevie Wonder. Freddie Mercury is 18. I'm sorry, Tina Turner's 17. Sorry.
Okay, at least she's on the list.
Freddie Mercury is 18. And here's what's gonna really bum me out, everybody. And the fact that you're listing the 100 best vocalists of all time, and Chris Cornell isn't on that list. You are automatically disqualified from making a fucking list ever again.
I don't know about ever again. Give them another chance. But they definitely, this was like the Jets against the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Like within the first quarter, you were just like, oh, God. Yeah. And within the first 10 on this, I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. Oh, another an interception? Oh, that's great. Oh, another fumble? Wow, you guys are really well prepared.
Dude, that guy, to hear a professional quarterback say, I'm seeing ghosts, was bananas. You can't say that. He knew he was mic'd, and he said, he's fucking goodbye. That's one of those things, that's like a butt fumble. That stays with you. I'm seeing ghosts, stays with you.
In New York, you won't ever live that down.
No.
That's literally the headline on the paper, I'm sure.
Got Ghostbusters.
When he wins a game, that's what they'll write.
You know what? I will tell you, what is it? Is it the Post that does those headlines?
Yeah.
We used to sit in Chelsea, and if something weird happened, we'd try to guess the Post the next day.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a lot of fun. I will tell you, whoever writes those headlines is really good at finding the pun and hammering it home.
Yeah, and they hammer it.
Yeah.
I mean, they be killing professional athletes. They're like, let's see, which blade is the rustiest? There's my favorite.
Dude, so what's going on, man? What's going on at your house? Anything?
Okay, so should we talk about something good first or something that I'm frustrated with first?
Let's hit with the let's hit frustrated, man. Let's hit it right up front.
Okay, so my daughter Charlotte is a really wonderful storyteller.
How old is she?
She's 10.
Okay.
And I don't speak about my family stuff. I try to keep it private, but I'm still trying to work this out. So she comes home, and I haven't been loving her school the last year and a half or so. There's been a lot of transition, a lot of change. It's been frustrating to get consistency again. But this isn't really connected to that. It's just to lend itself to why I'm already frustrated. So my daughter comes home and she says, Dad, I want to tell you about my legend. A legend is a story that they've been assigned to write that doesn't really have rules. You just have to have the basics parts of a story. She goes, but it has sad parts. I go, that's okay. I don't care if it has sad. She's never said that to me before. And she loves tragedies. Like, she's read Romeo and Juliet. You know what I mean? Like, she's 10. She likes that stuff. She loves Tim Burton's movies. She loves it. She saw Beetlejuice the musical. Like, that's not a feel. There's suicide in that, for crying out loud. But she's advanced emotionally and mentally in that regard. She deals with those things like like an adult or a young lady should. And she loves telling stories. So she says, I want to tell you my legend. It's kind of sad. I go, that's okay. And she goes, you're the lead character in it, Dad. I go, oh, that's so cool. Thanks. She goes, but your mom dies. And I'm like, oh, man, that's brutal. She goes, I know. So your grandfather tells you in order to figure out who did it, you have to go on this journey to find the clues, to find out who killed your mother. I'm like, whoa, that sounds like a crazy adventure. She goes, it is. She goes, you travel all over the world, but when you're as far away from your home as you can be on our earth, you find out it was your grandpa that did it because he wanted to be king. And you have to go back and you have to fight your grandpa and you have to kill him. And I was like, yo, that is heavy. That's deep. She goes, but I can't write that ending. My teacher won't let me. I went, wait,
why not?
She goes, yeah, she said it was too much death and I'm not allowed to do death in the story. I go, did she tell you that in the beginning? She goes, no. I'm like, so what's your end? She goes, she said I had to end it early. And I was like, oh, she goes, yeah, it doesn't really make sense anymore. But she was like, but I don't want to. And she's like starting to get kind of insecure about it. I've never seen my kid get insecure in storytelling. Like she's been telling me tales since she was 5 years old. I told you the story years ago about her and I created this story together.
Yeah.
Where there was the young Japanese princess and she would go into the woods and watch the samurai train and she would practice with a stick because girls weren't allowed to hold swords. And one day she found a wooden sword out there and it was because the shogun's bodyguard saw her and he left her a sword so she could train properly. And in this story, the dad gets killed. Her dad gets killed by his brother who wants power. And so she, with her training, goes to kill her uncle to take honor back for her family. So like my daughter's keyed into this type of storytelling. And her teacher just straight up like, nah, you can't do that. Not because, hey, it'll scare the kids. Not because she personally didn't like it. Or this is my daughter's side of the story. But again, my daughter's a straight up kid. Like if you ask my son who's 7, hey, did this happen? I don't know is the answer every time. But my daughter's very straightforward. Dad, I messed up today, but this girl was making me mad. And like she's real straightforward. She busts herself all the time. Stuff she could get away with in a second. So I only have her side, and I don't want to overreact. I don't want to get mad at the teacher, but I want to say like, hey, were there rules that said this? Or did you say, hey, we can't have characters die because some of the kids might freak out? Because what my kid told me was what you said is, no, you can't do that. It's too violent and there's too much death. And if that's the case, that's not the school we signed up for. Like when I went there, the head of admissions who was preaching the philosophy to us was no longer there. But I love her very much. She said, we try to direct kids' energies. And she gave us a couple examples that I'll never forget because I just fell in love with this lady. And she said this kid was having a hard time focusing. And he was always wanting to make other kids joke around. And even in class, they were doing it. And instead of just sending him outside so he couldn't learn anymore, they went and they said, hey, at recess, for the first 10 minutes, you're going to do stand-up comedy. And you're going to try to make all your friends laugh. And then if anybody else wants to get up, you can let them come up, and then you can be in the audience. And this kid graduated the school and is in film school now.
That's awesome.
And I remember hearing this story. And she told another one that I won't bore everyone with, but same thing. They directed energy, and that was sort of why that was the sole reason. My kid can get an education in California or wherever, get an education in public school, get an education in private school. But I wanted to know who was going to help guide my kids and help form and shape my kids. And that's why we chose this school. And it's an expensive school. So I expect what I pay for. And I don't think that's unreasonable.
Nope.
So when I hear things like this, and I don't want to, my first reaction is if it's like a fighting thing, I get real angry, right? Because I know what my kids are taught to do. Defend yourself. You're allowed to do that. A kid slashed at my son last year with a stick because he tried to cut in line, and my son said, you can't cut in line, and so he took out a stick and tried to slash. So Rocky knocked his ass out. And the people that were in charge then, although they made my son cry, I think he was just scared though, they understood he didn't start the fight, so he didn't get sent home, right? But now, so my reaction when that happened was, you better not be sending him home. But with this, I'm so confused as to why a teacher would say, no, you can't do that. It's too violent.
I have a couple
when
questions.
When it's not violent. Like she's not talking about blood and guts.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
First of all, are these reports that they're reading out loud to the class?
I'm sure they would.
Okay.
Yes. Which I would be okay with if
Me
she
too.
said that's why you can't.
Me
because
too.
it might scare kids.
Yep.
She didn't say that.
Okay. I'm assuming at 10, this isn't like these are graphic deaths.
No.
Right. And so I just point Exhibit A, Lion King, Bambi.
Yeah.
Every
Star Wars.
Every Disney movie, somebody dies.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
Frozen. The parents leave. Their ship sinks.
The deal. Okay. And not only that,
Harry Potter's parents were murdered by one of the most horrible humans
Batman
ever. Batman's dead.
Okay, so we're talking about cartoons, and we're talking about comic books, cartoons, and Disney. Everybody, here's my other thing, Freddie, is the one thing I don't like about public school, and this is no fault of their own, but you only have a certain amount of, you have limited resources, and you got to do it right. Public school labels kids at a very young age. And when you get labeled like special, or you need to go to a special class, or you're not as smart, or you're in advanced and you're in standard and you're in basic, that sticks with you.
Yeah.
If you look at the basic kids who get put in basic classes, they do not have a high, if you follow them over their lives, those are not the wealthy people. Now, I know you're saying, well, they're bad because they're dumb. No, they think they're dumb because they're made to believe they're dumb and they're different when they walk in.
Yeah, man, people learn differently.
Yes. So
some people are visual, some people are audio, some people have to write it down, some people have to talk it out.
Some people, they just get bored of what the fuck you're saying. Find a different way to teach them.
Yeah.
And so this is what I would say, man. When you tell a kid, no, it's too violent, there's no way they don't internalize that as in, that's my fault. And
that was the look on my daughter's face.
Okay.
I did something wrong. My story was wrong.
And here's another thing I would tell you. Death in stories are great jumping off ports. They're great motivators for you to do.
It's the entire reason Harry Potter keeps fighting.
It's a great
his
way.
Parents were murdered.
What are you fighting for? What is he fighting for this whole time? Who does he want to kill? Who does he want to be? He wants to avenge the death of his parents.
Why does Bruce Wayne become Batman? Not because he wants justice. It's for one reason, because he had such a violent, tragic loss that it basically makes him schizophrenic. Near schizophrenic.
Guess what isn't going to motivate Freddie's character in this story to go hunt somebody down? Hey, he stole that sandwich from your mom. What?
Well, I do like sandwiches.
Me too, man. I'm a big sandwich fan.
I see what you're saying.
In real life, yes, but in stories,
that guy's not a sandwich guy.
But I'm saying, like, so to me, this is honestly sounds like a young person who has read and been told and seen a lot of stories, who understands what's important and how to motivate characters.
We've read every Harry Potter. She's reading the Hunger Games right now.
You're asking somebody how to motivate. Dude, what's the motivation in that first? To stay alive.
Yeah.
And you're killing other people.
Yeah.
To stay alive. It seems like
she reads it to me. She even says, Dad, this one is way deeper than Harry Potter. I was like, yeah. I said, you can stop reading it if you want. She goes, no, I want to know how it ends, but there's some sad parts in this. And I hadn't read the books. I was like, I'm sad too, man. Let's prove it.
but like, this sounds like a teacher who is so worried about getting in trouble. This is what it sounds like. Feels like,
I don't know. I'm going to give her a chance to
it feels like these, especially in California, where we have a bunch of woke motherfuckers, where these people are like, well, I can't get in trouble. What if one of the other kids gets scared? Do you know what I mean? That's what it sounds like to me.
And if that's the case, and I think and I hope that's the case, my only thing is, why didn't you say that to my kid instead of just telling her, no?
Yeah.
Like, that's rejection, which I'm glad you think is good for children, but not in this case. It's not.
No.
You want to.
Here's a good suggestion.
Help growth, not stunt it.
Here's one suggestion that, like, the teacher could have said. I'll tell you what. This is a great story. Finish your story. Give me an alternate ending. Keep this one also.
Yeah.
But
can he put the grandpa in jail?
Find something.
Yeah.
Find something.
That's a note.
Yeah. And you know what else? It helps if she wants to be a storyteller. It's always important to think of different paths.
Yeah, man. And her and I speak about that.
And you know what? She might go down this different path and be like, wow, this actually was better. But don't tell her she was wrong for this.
Yeah. Say,
this was great. What about this also?
Yeah.
That would be the way to do it,
dude,
man.
I'm telling you, man, that's how coaches do it. Like, I watch Rocky's coach with him, and anytime Rocky does something.
Talking about Mick?
What's that?
Mick?
Who's Mick?
Rocky's coach, Mick?
No, my son Rocky.
Oh. I was like, yeah, man, Mick is a great motivator.
Man,
come on, Rock.
My boy Rocky, my son, my young child, not the professional fighter, fictional character, is he loves basketball. It's his favorite sport. He loves to watch the people dribble up and down the court.
Little Curtis Blow.
He is. But
that was great.
He's a great dribbler. He doesn't even look at the ball when he dribbles. He's starting to switch hands already. He's 7 years old. Your phone's vibrating like a mug. And his shot's finally starting to go because he's listening to his coach on how to shoot, right? But every time he would do it wrong and not shoot the right way and kind of just chuck it, his coach's name's Coach Barry. I love this guy so much. And he doesn't have a PhD to my knowledge. He doesn't have a child psychology degree to my knowledge. Maybe he's the illest shrink ever and just likes coaching young kids and making them better men and women. But he puts his arm around my kid on his shoulder and he goes, hey man, you know a better way to do that? Like this, watch. And then my son feels safe. He doesn't feel like he's getting smashed on. And then he's like looking at this guy who he admires because Coach Barry's jacked and he's like, he can play any sport. He played football, I know. And then he'll show my son the right way and I'm watching and then my boy will just do it gangster, right? And I'm like, dang, do I even know he could throw a spiral? You know what I mean? He's 7 and he's throwing. I can't throw because my damn shoulder, I can't lift it up over my head anymore. And I'm watching him and I just see him learn and it's so quick and simple. And then if he doesn't listen, push-ups.
Yeah.
Push-ups. And you know what? He got sick of doing push-ups, so he started listening. And it's not this whole like child psychology nonsense that takes 6 weeks and we're going to try this system and that system. Like, yo, make him do push-ups.
Yeah.
Tell him to go run a lap. They get sick of it and they get in good shape.
Totally. you know what I found? You know, I've told you before, if I was in a comic, I would go back and just coach baseball or teach. I love doing it.
You'd be a great PE coach.
I love teaching baseball. You know, to me, what's missing in baseball and kids now is that those baseball drills are boring as fuck.
Yeah.
But we used to make
they don't focus as much.
Yeah, we used to make our practices just about fun. That was my thing. Like my goal every year when I coached kids was to want them, because there's attrition as you get older, right? There's attrition in sports. And there's attrition in my mind because the kids who aren't as good don't have as much fun because they don't feel good when they play.
Yeah.
So my goal every year was to make sure all 15 kids on my team signed up next year. That was the goal.
Yeah.
Right? And if you ask Jacob Wolf, what coach won the most at our park and won with kids that weren't on paper, our team. Because our team, when a kid made an error, they didn't feel bad about themselves. They didn't hang their head. They just, and so much in sports and teams is being confident and being happy and not feeling shame.
That's so dead on. So in my son's game, he plays every weekend, his basketball game. There's one kid who's really good. And I mean, the kid slows down at the end of his layups on a fast break and just kisses it in. And he's 7, dude. The kid's sweet. But he's kind of a jerk with the kids that aren't as good, or was. And so 2 games ago, one of the younger kids who isn't that good yet, he's much smaller for his age, he took a shot. He was open. He took a shot. And before he shot it, the kid goes, no, don't shoot. And the kid shot, it was an air ball. And he goes, oh, God. And as soon as the quarter ran out, it was right near the end of the quarter, I saw the coach, nobody did anything, right? And so I went up to the kid. I said, hey, man. And I would put my arm around him just like Coach Barry does. I go, I want you guys to win this game, but you're going to make your teammate feel bad. He's not going to want to play defense, offense, or even play. You need to encourage him to shoot. And if he misses, tell him to keep shooting, because that's how he's going to get better.
Yeah.
And I'm making him look at me the whole time. I'm not going to say his name. And I didn't yell at him. I wasn't being mean to him. I said, but you need to be a good teammate, not a bad one. I said, and what you did, that was bad. And he's looking at me like this. And I go, hey, I love you guys. I want you guys to win. I said, I remind him, I go, I'm Rocky's dad. I say, I'm way harder on him. I said, I'm not your coach, but I want you guys to play well. I said, and that wasn't cool. And he was like, okay. And he didn't say anything the rest of the game. But then 2 games later, which was the game this weekend, and Jeff Dye gave me a great idea. He was like, dude, you need to film and do a highlight reel with music for Rocky.
Hilarious.
I was like, oh, bro, I'm doing that. So I'm filming all these highlights. I even got some of this little dude, and I got video of him telling this little man, Eli, to shoot. And he's like, shoot it, Eli, shoot it. and Eli shoots it, and it's a big time brick, right? Just blang, and then Rocky and Theo are on the same team. They both jump up, they both get the rebound, and they pass it to him again. He shoots it again, blang, another brick, and then the kid who was being nice all of a sudden got the rebound, and he puts it in, scores, and then gives that little kid Eli a high five on the way back and says, keep shooting. And I was like, dude, this kid's a gangster now. And now he's leading. He's like, Rocky, yeah, good job. And he's rooting on everybody now, but he's the best player on their team. So to see that change, that, like, kids will do it. You just got to be real with them, man. Like, all this sort of get down on their level stuff doesn't work. Like, just be honest. I'm like, dude, you're being a bad teammate. Period. Mm-hmm. Like, that's it. And when he heard that, that sucks to hear, man. That's criticism. Nobody likes to hear that. But it was real. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they know. All they're going to say, I don't know, because they're boys and we're dumb. And girls will give you a reason because they actually think before
they
puberty.
Do. That's true also.
That's another thing guys get a bad rap for. We don't have a single thought until puberty. And at puberty, what's that thought going to be outside of sex?
Zero. Food. I'm hungry.
And sex because of puberty. So, ladies, we're a minimum of 15 years behind you. So cut us some slack. Why do you think second wives are always 15 years younger when the dude gets remarried? Because that's how mature he is.
You ready for this? I'm going to say something controversial, Freddie Prinze. You ready for this?
What?
People are going to hate me for this. But you know what? I completely understand that women's hormones once a month go out of whack. Mm-hmm. I completely understand that. We all understand that. There are times where somebody might behave in a way that they normally would not behave. When men are jacked full of testosterone,
oh yeah,
to expect them to behave any way other than dumb and erratic. And listen, if you're going to excuse one set of hormones,
I don't think you're
for behavior,
for this.
Right?
People have heard of roid rage.
Yeah, you have to excuse the other, and that's why young men, when I'm not saying criminal things, and I'm not saying sexual,
but when they act like animals,
it's what's coursing through their bodies.
Yeah, as much as estrogen can make you feel emotional and out of control of what makes you feel good and sad, testosterone makes guys feel like they can literally lift up a mountain and smash it on their head and then go chug a beer. And they're going to get a kiss afterwards because why wouldn't there be a gorgeous woman there? Like, that's just how testosterone makes you think and feel. Now imagine all these middle-aged men on steroids.
Oh, that's taking
it. And this is a synthetic form of it. And so now they're literally injecting a hormone into them that's not just going to make them strong and fast and young and have an erection 24 hours a day like when they were 18, but that testosterone is going to synthetically create those same feelings. That's real stuff. I don't think you're going to catch heat for that.
Yeah.
Science.
Yeah.
Science.
It is science, right? And the thing is, like, men, whenever I see, like, you ever check out Barstool Sports?
Yeah. They catch heat because of that male philosophy. But look, they're dudes that are bench pressing 260 12 times and taking 2 cycles a week. Like, what do you think they're going to find funny?
Whenever
Three's Company?
Come and knock on my door.
It's such a great show. I love that show so much.
Whenever I see, like, a clip of some dude jumping off a roof to break a table, and everyone's like, why is he did so stupid? I'm like, what do you mean, why is he?
Yeah, he just did bench press for like an hour straight for no reason.
He's got testosterone brain.
Yeah.
He's had 4 beers. He thinks he's the biggest flying dick out there.
I could land right on that, and it wouldn't even hurt.
You don't You're jumping off of a roof onto a table to break it.
And they'll look at you and be like, yeah, you're not?
Yeah.
And people go, well, that's so stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super dumb.
Whenever I see... Like I've told you before, July 5th is my favorite day to be on YouTube because I know there are gonna be a lot of white dudes between the age of 16 and 28 shooting bottle rockets out of their assholes.
Yeah, they are.
Why are they doing that? Because testosterone.
And by the way, They even know that the sparks are going to burn their asshole because they've seen videos for decades.
But they just assume it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt me.
Won't burn me. I'm all man.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it burns. It burns. I told you it fucking burned, you pussy, bro. I mean, that's every video every year.
Yeah.
And then people are still surprised that guys act like monkeys.
So that's the thing, man. Like, you know, like I said, when you see, especially in sports, when you see a guy like Baker Mayfield or anybody in college, you know, plant a flag in the middle of the field.
Grab their balls.
You just played 3 hours of the manliest gladiator sport we have in America right now.
No, UFC.
True. But you just went head to head with a bunch of other dudes.
You just had a car crash.
And you
walked away from it.
And there's testosterone coursing through, and you made a bad decision? Yeah, I agree with that. I assume you would. I can think of, off the top of my head, easy 10 ridiculous things I did that I would never do now. And I know people will say age, wisdom. It's not age, wisdom. I just don't.
Bro.
Low T, bruh. Low T, bruh.
The dumb struggle's real, man. We want to be dumber. We're getting smarter because we don't get as many erections.
Exactly.
Sucks, man. This is a horrible story.
We really did make it sadder than it needed.
I'll close it with this. Ladies, men have been trying to change the way you think and feel for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And we've never been able to do it even a little bit.
Nah.
I promise. It ain't going to go the other way.
No.
Like, it's just not. Like, women are women and men are men. And the sooner we can just go, all right, you make me crazy, but I love this crazy.
Yeah.
You can chill with that person. If you want to kill everyone else, you do what you got to do. I'm not going to judge you. That's up to you and your God.
I have to tell you, though, that I'm not really in favor of this. You know, I'm not sure. I might catch you for this too. I understand the term toxic masculinity.
Sure.
But I'm going to tell you right now, being masculine is not a negative thing. I think there's been a lot of negativity that's surrounded that word.
Now, the heat you're going to get, it's not going to be heat. It'll be people saying, well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the men who abuse. Okay, but Josh is on the same page you are.
Yes.
He's not trying to say that either. He's just saying it's become this sort of blanket statement that any masculinity is like, oh, he's a macho douchebag.
Like to be a bro.
He might be a really good father.
Yeah,
and a nice guy.
And to be a bro is somehow a negative. Those dudes are coursing with testosterone. That's just what
By
they
the way,
are.
I know a lot of bros, and they're really good dudes.
Yeah.
Like, I know UFC fighters like that you would think are the biggest meatheads in the world, and they're some of the most spiritual, philosophical, intelligent humans I've ever met. And they punch people in the face for a living, and they lick blood off their gloves from their enemies after the fight. And they're not doing it because they're an idiot meathead. They're coursing with energy, and this is the pinnacle of their sport, and they've just become a champion in it. So yeah, they're a warrior in that moment, and they're going to behave more animalistic, but they're still a wonderful father, husband, teacher, friend, brother. And they're not saying repulsive, disgusting things out there. It's just because, you know, this sort of hashtag has covered all of mankind.
Yeah.
That, you know, if you even like say men are good, it's like, well, not all men. It's like, yo, what?
Okay.
Not all women. I mean, this is a 50-50 ball game, people.
But like, I would consider both of us, look, not masculine in like, I'm benching 450, bruh. But
Dude, I played D&D for 4 hours last night.
Did you?
I'm not that masculine.
What can I ask you? What do you wear when you play D&D?
Okay, can I talk about this?
Yeah,
can I tell you a story?
As soon as you tell me what you were wearing, do you play live with other people or online?
Well, we've been playing some prep games for what we're going to do on live stream.
Okay, let me just say one thing.
Tell me.
Tell the story, and then we're going to do our top 4 favorite board games of all time.
All right. Check this out. What time is it?
It's 11:51. We've been on for 44 minutes.
Dang, dude, that went fast.
I got a clock up, motherfucker.
It's in your head. Don't give it up. Don't tell him it's there.
Gauge put a clock up.
No, take credit. You got to be like, oh, no, it's just in my head.
Oh, it's just in my head. Gauge didn't put a clock up.
We'll edit that out. All right. So this was just a rehearsal. So I just dressed normal. Like shit, like I dress every day. But we're doing a new Star Wars D&D game. It's from the same company we did last time, Fantasy Flight's Edge of the Empire. We did it on GEGGHEAD. When we did it on Twitch, our third episode, I think, had 142,000 live views. So it's something we've been wanting to do again for a long time because it got such a good reception. I've even been asked at conventions. So we're doing another one. We have some new faces and familiar faces, and we're even going to have an open slot for guests every once in a while where they can come in. Maybe they'll die. Maybe they'll get arrested. Maybe they'll stick around for a couple episodes. Maybe they'll go on their way and come back a few episodes later. But we even have this open slot. And last night we were doing one of our sort of rehearsals just so this new team gets to know how the other people play and things like that. And there was no combat, not a weapon drawn, and I had an absolute blast. And I would love to give you the quick of it. Our GM is a guy named Jeremy. He's amazing. He was born in France, raised here, speaks multiple languages.
Does he sound like that? Hello, my name is Jeremy.
No, he was raised here. He sounds like you and me.
But if he was French, would he sound like this? Hello, my name is Jeremy.
Exactly like that. I thought you were Gerard Depardieu for a second. My Father, the Hero, Part 2.
Part 2. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not French. You're much more French than me. My mistake. So this dude's a really good GM, and we'd already played one with him. Kyle Newman, who's played Catan with us here, who was on the winning Oregon Trail Homesteaders live stream that we did here. He was like, hey, he's my friend. He's a big nerd, knows Star Wars, but he's a great GM. He is. The first one where we all met each other was amazing. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of info on what the stream's going to be. Our characters have not been a crew for that long. They came together 2 games ago, sort of all on different jobs that led them to the same place. My guy is a smuggler and a gambler, and he's the race known as the Cathar, which are these like half cat, half human people. Basically, if you're old enough to remember Beauty and the Beast with Ron Perlman, that's what my mini's gonna look like. A mini is a miniature figure that they carve and custom make, right? So I dress smooth like Billy D. Williams. I got a nice jacket, looking good. I carry dice with me, chance dice. I carry a sabak deck with me. That's the card game that Land always plays. And I even have, what do they call it, a skifter, so I can slide cards up and down if I want to cheat. And I put all my skills in like cunning, deception, coercion, things like that, because I want to be more of a talker than a fighter, right? And then I'm a Cathar, so I also have these claws, these retractable claws that come out, and they can do some decent damage and do critical hits if I need to. But again, not a fighter, and I'll play in character. I'm going to always try to avoid conflict, run if necessary, but a reluctant hero if I need to be, right? So I'm rolling my guy, and again, Jeremy's helping me create this dude. And you have so much freedom with a great GM because they can really use your attributes to their highest. So last night we go in, we're on this space station having already completed this mission, and we're kind of together now. And the person who hired us, who had a different name for each of us when they first dealt with us, we didn't know it was the same guy. His name's Masks. He's an illusion. He can change faces. It's really cool. And he kind of links us all together. And now in this one, it wasn't going to be a fight. We were just chilling on the space station. So how exciting can this be? It is. So Claire Grant, who you know, she's one of our players, and Maud Garrett, who people know from Nerdist, are two of our characters. And Maud's more of a tech specialist. So she goes to one part of the island where there's a scrapyard. And she's kind of like hustling and rolling like dice to impress the owners of these tech shops and to negotiate for cheaper prices on parts we need for the ship. And me and Taylor Gray, who I think you've met, he was on Geg Wars with us, and he was the voice of Ezra on Star Wars Rebels with me. He and we go off to a place called the Vats. I don't know what it is, but I think I'm going to get to gamble because I have a good GM, right? And he knows what my skill sets are. Taylor's character is more like this, like picture Walker, Texas Ranger in his 20s. Okay.
So like it looks like me.
Just like you.
Yeah, okay, got it.
And we don't know too much about him. And in his character, he hasn't told me too much about him. And so I don't trust him very much. And I can read people. So I have like perception rolls where I can roll and I can tell if you're lying to me. And then if I get advantages on that roll, sometimes I can pick some truth out through the GM, right? And so that's how I kind of utilize my skills instead of like, I have a gun that does 50 damage. Like Claire she critted and hit someone for 70 damage with all these stacks. And when I did a melee, it was like 7. Okay, so that's where we're talking. That's where we're at. But I don't want to be overpowered. I want to try to create a character who's a fast talker, basically. So we go to this area called the Vats, and we see this group of people. And he says, what do you want to do? I said, I want to get through the people. I want to get there. He goes, you can roll brawn to kind of push through, or you can roll agility to kind of like smooth your way through so people don't notice you. I have good agility. It's at 3. That's my base stat. So I get 3 positive dice for that. Because it's an easy task, I get 1 negative dice that I attach to that. And then there's advantage and disadvantage die available as well, depending on the circumstances. But for purposes of this, we'll just say, good and bad. So I roll, I succeed, and I get through cool. And what I see, and this is the GM explaining this to me, this is Jeremy. He says, you see a Wookiee in a vat. He's chained up, he's locked. There's a gas mask on him, and there's gas coming out of the top of the vat. You see a clock on the wall that reads 4 minutes, and it has a gauge, and a man is guarding the gauge. Before I can say anything, Taylor goes, I'm saving that fucking Wookiee. I want to roll to attack that guy. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second, bro. Can we talk? No, dude, we have to save him. I know this. Trust me. And he's like being real and out of character at the same time. Right. And he goes, I don't care what you say, Freddie. He calls me Freddie instead of my character's name. He goes, I don't care what you say, Freddie. We're saving this Wookiee. And I'm like, no, man, we're not going to cause attention to ourselves. I owe this dude 120,000 credits, and the last thing I need are his assholes chasing us down on this space station, or it's going to be a 6-hour game instead of a 3-hour game, you jerk. He's like, no, I'm rolling. So it's basically like life playing out, because that's how Taylor is. Right. So he rolls, and he fails. So he attacks the guy, but the GM says, so you attack him, and you pull him away, but he pushes you off through the crowd. And the crowd, not wanting this to stop, push you further back. Freddie, what do you do? And I'm like, I got to get my guys back now. Like, I don't. So I literally get to be the reluctant hero. I'm like, I want to go intimidate this guy with, I think it was coercion. I'm going to retract my claws, and I'm going to be like, step away from the cage now, or that's a wrap for you. Right. And he goes, okay, roll. So I succeed. So he steps away from the cage. And now I'm at a computer, and I don't have a good computer skill, right? So now Taylor has to come back through the crowd to turn it off. And he goes, the clock's at 4:40. And Taylor's like, okay, I want to roll to shut it down. So he rolls, he succeeds. He goes, the clock stops at 4:57, and the gas dissipates. And all of a sudden you hear and the Wookiee rips off his chains, rips off his masks, jumps out of the vat, and in common, meaning in English, says, who just screwed up my record? And I'm looking at Taylor like, dude, he's the Houdini of Wookiees, and you just ruined his trick, you asshole. And now Taylor's like, dude, I'm so sorry. And then the Wookiee says, it was you, the human? And Taylor's like, yeah. And he goes, throw him in the vat. And Taylor looks at me like, dude. And I just look at Taylor like the old Richard Pryor joke when he talks about the Godfather. I'm like, nope. Yeah. So they put him in the vat. And now I'm going to try to bond with the Wookiee and teach this kid some respect. So I'm going to be like, hey, they'll be like, you're not going to save him? That's probably what Jeremy will say in the next episode. And I'll be like, nah, but what's the over-under on how long you think you can make it? I'll bet you 500 credits. And I'm going to try to charm him to let him out finally and be like, look, you can't hack it, let him out.
It's funny how personal he took D&D.
And when you have players that are willing to sort of just jump in, even if you don't know all the rules, if you have a GM that can guide you through rules, you'll learn them. But his commitment made it so much fun. And that was only half the story. The other half was Maud and Claire. And we're not even involved in that. And I'm sitting there with my hands under my chin like, what are they going to do? But I can't say anything because I'm not there. My character's not. But I'm sitting there like, no, don't kill him, don't kill him. Ah, son of a bitch, they just fucking killed him.
But like he went, just the Wookiee in danger. That's what I do love about games like that is sometimes you get personally so attached.
And he has this superhero. I've seen him do it before in our last game. He was a Wookiee. And the second he thought I was in trouble at all, and it was just an argument. He's like, I want to throw my vibro axe right through that guy going after Freddie. And I'm like, dude, we're good. I'm talking to, and he's fucking dead. And then we had all these people after us. So that's just how his brain is. You know what I mean? Like he has genuine love.
That's awesome.
For people, and he goes after it. So we're getting ready to do this in just a few weeks. Our miniatures are getting sculpted and painted right now. We're doing one more pre-session game on the 30th, right before Halloween. And then our next one in November will be the first live stream that we do. There won't be a guest spot on that one because it'll sort of be getting to know this crew first. And then within our first season, we're going to have a few guest spots. And there's some familiar faces that people know. And then some open slots for when we want to, grab other people too.
Before I forget, and by the way, tell everybody where they can see that.
It'll be on YouTube, facebook.com/gegghead, GEGGHEAD. I might even put it on my Facebook Live.
It's a lot of fun, guys. Watching this stuff is a lot of fun. It's like, I equate it to why people used to watch Chelsea. People used to watch Chelsea because they wanted to sit around and watch their friends talk shit to each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what we felt like to them, which was their friends. And I feel like
that's why my wife and I watched.
Yeah,
that's exactly why.
So it feels like the same thing.
And now we're
It.
friends.
Yeah, it does feel like the same thing when I watch it. I do want to say this also, guys. If you're in San Francisco this weekend, Friday and Saturday night, I'm gonna be
special time.
I'm gonna be taping a couple of the shows, so you want to come on out and check it out at Cobb's. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Beth will be there with me. I'm bringing Steven Randolph. He's super fun. A lot of cool guests. But we should do right now, Freddie Prinze.
Hit me.
Mount Rushmore, and I think we've done our top 4 board game Mount Rushmore.
Maybe, but I might be different now.
I'm jumping right off. Ready for me?
Yeah, go.
Risk. Now I'm going to define board game as any
top 5 for sure.
So you can call checkers a board game to me.
Yeah,
because it's got a board. Okay,
Yeah.
so I go Risk, just because.
It's a great game.
And you can. I like games where you can fuck people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what's so great about it. There's so much accountability, man.
Yes.
So I think we've done this before, and I think I actually picked Risk.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing about Risk, I won't choose it for this one, was to get Australasia. If you could get Australia and the little islands, right? I think it was like Papua New Guinea or whatever was right above it. You could literally just build up, and no one could beat you because there's only really one way to get in there.
Yeah.
And then once your forces were strong enough, you could literally just take over. Everyone would go after Asia, but you could never control that board no matter how many extra pieces you got at the beginning of the turn. You would always lose a country somewhere. You just build up Australasia, baby, and you could literally win that game every single time. But you had to have the cards to have it.
But I'm with you, and I like
Such a great game.
Yeah, and I like being able to target people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because,
it was like the game Sorry. It was literally built on that principle.
Yes.
Like, and F you.
By the way, Sorry. One of my favorites too.
Great game,
yeah.
by the way. Okay, so this is going to be an easy one. Monopoly. I had such a good run with this game. For like 3 years, we had a regular game after She's All That with Dulé, myself, Melinda Williams, a bunch of actors that would all, and friends that weren't even, that would all come and play. And we were ruthless to the point where there were rules. You knew people were cheating. We only gave 60 seconds to negotiate if you landed on a property.
Yeah.
So you could be like, look, I can't afford, you got 2 hotels on Park Place, but I'll never make you pay on any of the yellows for the rest of the game if you let me skate this one time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm taking that deal. I'll just bankrupt you on the next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at 60 seconds, if there's not an agreement, it was out. Dulé cheated so bad one time, he brought his own Monopoly money from another game, and we caught him because it was a special edition Monopoly and the cash didn't match. Dude used forgery.
Done that before.
Oh, it's so shady.
I've done that before.
I've done it before. I just didn't get caught.
Let me ask you a couple of Monopoly questions. You put all the fines and $500 in the middle?
Yeah, all fines go to free parking. So anyone that lands on free parking, they get to collect all that dough.
And every
House
time
rules.
it gets cleared, do you put $500 back in the middle?
No, we put $200 back in the middle. Same as crossing go.
So we do 500, but I'm with you on that.
It's a good house rule.
So for me, numero dos. You ready for this?
Numero dos.
And a game that I liked so much when I was a kid, and this may be why it's on my list, but Life.
Oh, my kids and I play that. Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
There was something about that game, and I liked spinning the wheel, and I liked had a little texture to the
three-dimensional board.
Yeah, and so I just really liked that. There was something about
that was a great game.
Playing that game with my family, and I think that's probably why it has the memory for me. But for sure, Life.
So my second one, and this will show what a horrible human being I can be, is Clue.
Dude. Great game.
So the only time since I was probably 16, 15 years old that I haven't cheated was the live stream that we did. Because I didn't want people to catch me on a live stream cheating. Y'all wouldn't have caught me. Y'all were just talking and chattering. It was so hard not to do this. But every time I played, I don't know why people always let me do the cards, but they let me do the cards. I shuffle them, look at who did it, put it in. Shuffle the places, look where it is, put it in. shuffle what they killed him with, the weapon, look at it, put it in, set it down, deal the cards. Nobody ever sees me do it. I just do it real quick, and I know everything before the game even starts. And then the whole game, I just go room to room, make notes. When other people make guesses and accusations, I make fake notes like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. And they're looking like, what are you writing? I go, hey, I'm just trying to keep track of what you're guessing so I can kind of guess what you have. And they're like, oh, maybe I should do that. What's Freddie guessing? I'll be like, all right, kitchen, Professor Plum with the knife. And then the person will show me a card and I'll like mark 2 things. I'll be like, oh, okay, all right. And people will be like, what the fuck? And then the moment I feel like somebody's getting close, I'll stay in rooms that are close to the closet. And then I'll just roll. Got it. There's Professor Plum in the library with the candlestick. Let me guess. Am I right? Huh, that's weird. Still undefeated. I guess I'm the master detective, not Batman.
I respect that.
I'm telling you, the first time I
know.
didn't cheat was with you guys.
More than you know, I respect that.
And not because I respected y'all.
I know
I just didn't want to get caught on camera. Because
See,
that would have been a meme.
That's where you and I differ. I don't mind getting caught on camera.
I don't want video evidence because then on my Twitter feed it would just be like, and there's the technique.
Yeah,
and it's slow mo, and so I'd be like, oh, you bastards.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. The next time we play live, I'm gonna cheat, and you're never gonna catch me.
If you win, everyone will know you cheated at Clue. You know how high you were last time?
Really
You
high.
should watch that video. I'm gonna pull a clip from that video.
Was I high?
Dude, you were annihilated. There was one point, and we were playing a Hasbro game, and I even was like, dude, you're pretty toasted. Like, I think I tried to use a safe word for stoned, but you were
Listen,
toasted,
man,
bro.
Monopoly and Clue both would have been on just for
Sure.
But I'm gonna throw a wrench in here.
Wrench it.
Othello.
That's a great game.
Love Othello.
And it's easy. Why do you call it Othello? Why don't you call it Othello?
Othello.
Why do you call it Othello?
Mine was spelled A-U-T-H.
It was?
No.
It's Othello.
Othello, yeah. Othello.
You know the story of Othello, right?
Yeah, he played this game with his son where you...
That's a different plot already. Never mind, we're good.
But for me...
Lawrence Fishburne, Kenneth Branagh, check
Yes.
it out. Decent movie.
I love that game because, again, I like games that can stay simple but keep your attention.
Yeah, and if you don't focus,
Yes.
you get like half your shit flipped. Yeah, you got to focus.
So I love it. It's the idea is super simple, but there's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like a simple game that isn't simple to play.
I'm going to go old school on you.
Rock,
but I
scissors,
think it'll
paper.
make you laugh. That's not a board game.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Operation.
Man, that's a great one.
Because whether you're with your kids,
Yeah.
or you're drunk at a
Yep.
frat party, or you're old and like stoned up with your friends and seeing who has the worst reflexes, you can have a laugh during that game. Someone always gets freaked out. One of the pieces is always lost, and everybody blames somebody else for playing the game and not putting it back properly.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one for me. And that whole that I hated that sound more than anything. I was gonna Hungry Hippos it, but that's gonna be my one kids one. Hungry Hippos is gonna be in my honorable mention.
Okay. And my last one is, I mean, I think I'm going to catch a little shit for this one.
Get some shit. I'm sure the first time we did this, all your choices were money.
I'm going to tell you what I like. I like it because, and this has changed as I've gotten older. But I also like it because as I've gotten older, it's gotten funnier. And by the way, we're not counting games like Apples to Apples, Cards Against Humanity.
You
'cause
can
those,
if you want.
Those aren't board games, though, right?
But if you want to, you can. I won't hate.
But not a board game. Because if it was, I consider those card games.
Okay, that's fine.
I love Scrabble, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you why I like Scrabble. I like Scrabble, and I like playing with...
Seth Green, huge Scrabble head, dude.
Dude, I love it because...
He's like the only guy that still plays Words with Friends.
I love it because, like, every now and then I'll play with my dad, and he'll put a word out that's like bleb. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with bleb.
Bleb.
And I'll look it up. I'm like, that's a word. Bleb's a word. How do you
It's
know?
like za.
Yeah.
Sarah put down za one time on a triple letter, triple word score and got like a bazillion points because it was going 2 ways. And I'm like, oh, BS za.
Yeah.
Were you a Ninja Turtle?
Yeah.
And she showed me in the Scrabble dictionary. It's there. And I was like,
Yeah,
yo,
son
I'm putting
of a
za
bitch.
on you every
Every
day
time.
for the rest of your life.
But bleb, I've remembered bleb.
Bleb. That's a horrible word, bleb.
He goes, do you know what it means? I go, it sounds like something you whisper in someone's ear. Bleb.
Bleb.
Hey, baby.
You trying to bleb?
You...
You trying to bleb, baby?
Who's trying to bleb up in this motherfucker?
That's what you say when you start your set. My fourth one, it's not, I'm not saying it's one of the best ever, but it's one of my favorites right now. And I actually want to do a live stream on it, so I want to get people hip to it. It's called Downforce. And it's from Restoration Games. It's a remake.
It was also my nickname in high school.
Nice. That's a strong nickname. Yeah. It's a race car game. So there's a track. Everyone has their car. You're trying to fight for lane position and things like that. But it's dictated with cards. So the cards in your hand move forward 3 spaces. But some of these cards will also move your opponent's cars as well. So you move 3, but the red car moves 2.
That's awesome.
And it's chance and strategy. And I think it could be a fun game. There's also like a futuristic cyberpunk version of it too, where you're like on the lower level trying to
Should have
win.
got low.
Trying to win future hot rod races so you can get to like the upper class.
It's a new game?
Downforce is a remake of an old game, but I just got it. I just played it last night with the kids. I'm gonna play it with some grown-ups tonight, and then and see how it plays. But I think I'm gonna put it on the live stream. So check it out, Downforce, based off an old, I think maybe 1989 board game, but it's pretty friggin' cool. Not as basic as you'd think.
Let's do our 2. We each get 1 kids game, and then we're gonna bid a deux, like Gerard Depardieu. So for me, the kids game was between 2, but out of the 2, Candyland and Chutes and Ladders, I pick Chutes and Ladders.
Okay, I will go Candyland because my son, when he gets, the hearts.
Yeah.
And he's right near the end, that look on his face and that, no! It was like Hans Gruber falling from the, like it wrecks my boy when wrecks him to
I
where
love
he's
that.
like, when he was younger, would he even try to cheat and put the card back? And I'm like, nah, let me see it. Those are the hearts, man. I'm digging it. Those are the hearts, baby, all the way back. It makes him insane. So because of that, I'll flip and I'll go the other one.
I feel like this was a really good podcast.
It went fast.
We had some
Too fast.
We had some serious stuff. We had some funny stuff. We had maybe my best song of all time to lead off the podcast. I really feel like we checked all the boxes.
Well, one of us feels that way.
Do you want to hear the meat and bread song again?
No. You do the goodbye song.
You want to hear the goodbye song?
Right.
Freddie and Josh, done with the pod.
Oh,
It's
dude,
Tuesday.
it's so bad. It's so bad. Just say Prinze and the Wolf.
You didn't let me finish.
Yeah.
Prinze and the Wolf.